Yesterday afternoon, I spoke in this chamber and I quoted former Comptroller General David Walker saying, "We as a country face large, known, and growing structural deficits that could swamp our ship of state. To get our ship of state in trim, we need to make adjustments. We need to reduce the deficit and the debt." I also discussed that when Republicans demand that all revenue raisers be taken off the table in our discussions about how we reduce that deficit and that debt, as the Republican leader has done just this week, what they are really defending is tax subsidies for profitable big oil companies. What they're really defending is corporations that dodge their U.S. taxes by setting up phony business locations in the Cayman Islands and elsewhere. What they're really defending is ultra-high income individuals, the highest 400 income earners in the country, paying a lower actual tax rate than ordinary working Americans. In some years, lower than truck drivers. In some years, as low as a hospital orderly. Just last month, Republicans filibustered a measure that would have ended $21 billion in completely unnecessary subsidies for the largest oil companies. We know that those oil companies are enjoying record multi-billion-dollar profits, the highest in some cases profits any corporation's ever made, and they do not need continued support from the American taxpayer. They just do not when these other cuts are being thought of. But our Republican friends went to bat for the big oil companies, and they fought back our attempt, and they protected that big oil subsidy. To keep our ship of state afloat, Republicans are willing to end Medicare, kick children out of Head Start early education, knock down Pell Grants, and eliminate PBS. But they will fight to protect special subsidies and tax breaks for big corporations and billionaires. Today, I rise to discuss one such unjustifiable tax giveaway, a tax break for private jets, for the use of CEOs and other top corporate executives that has no public policy benefit whatsoever. The way this works, Mr. President, under current law, companies that buy private jets, planes which can cost upward of $50 million each, can deduct the value of that jet from their taxes over 5 years. There's a 5-year depreciation schedule. Airline carriers, on the other hand, the folks who carry 99% of the American public through the air, must depreciate the value of their planes over 7 years, 2 years longer than for the private executive jets. Now, this may sound like a minor accounting anomaly, and I'm sure that's what the corporate lobbyists who got this through and stuck into our tax code said when they got it done. But this is one that may cost the government $3 billion in lost tax revenue over the next decade. The special treatment of corporate jets, its advantage relative to the jets that regular people fly on when they take to the air, is just one more example of a tax code that is riddled with custom-made provisions, earmarks in the tax code that benefit corporations and the wealthy. While middle-class families struggle to make car payments and face ever higher prices at the gas pump, our tax code subsidizes the private jet travel of millionaires and billionaires. In a time of austerity, when we're being asked to cut education, when we're being asked to cut science, when we're being asked to cut health care, it is no time to be protecting a private jet subsidy that ordinary taxpayers have to make up for through their own taxes. And we should repeal it as part of a package to lower our budget deficits. I was disappointed when Senate Republicans rejected our attempt to repeal big oil giveaways, and I hope that they will not do the same when we bring up a corporate jet loophole repeal for a vote. As we continue to debate ways to close the budget gap, I hope that my Republican colleagues will rethink their determination to defend tax loopholes for corporations and the wealthy while they're trying to get rid of Medicare. That is a terrible set of priorities. It is simply unconscionable for them to talk about cutting education and research and health programs while they are fighting on the floor to protect at all costs special interest tax subsidies that are on the books. I thank the chair. I yield the floor.